Today is a beautiful day, and it's the fourth day of October 2023. Welcome to my podcast. My name is Vasu Obaseki, and it's always a delight to come here to talk to you. Sometimes rant, maybe. It's been a long time I actually did rant. you know, um, it's it's been a long day, and I had a lot of things to talk about. But I have to pick my thoughts one after the other to start from somewhere. So, um, it's crazy. It's crazy, but it's possible. Yeah, so I have been thinking about something lately, and it's one of those things that happen with a lot of people nowadays. And one of the things that happen is actually trying. You get into um, an organization or a relationship, and I didn't want to talk about relationships, but let me just go ahead and talk about relationships for a bit. Yeah, one of the things that a lot of people, um, a lot of people, let me not differentiate. A lot of people tend to do is they hate to try again and again and again till it works out. Some people use the excuses of being broken. Some people use the excuses of being dismantled mentally. Some people use the excuses of being done. I mean, you have siblings, and you've probably had was issues that the person you are in a relationship with your siblings, and you didn't just have an option than to just stay there. And over the years you grew up to either love your sibling or hate your sibling. Barely seen any sibling that any family. I barely There are, but they are not. There are exceptions, really very very minute. And then you mean you say you love someone so much, and you don't communicate with the person, you don't share. And perhaps because there's this mantra that, oh, men are scum, women are whatever, and you ride with those things, you see people's experiences. And then, like, I think it was it on my podcast I said some time ago that the things you fear the most are the things that come. So if you think more about failure, you all the elements of nature would um bring about that failure. You gather forces. And then one thing about thinking about failure with someone is you begin to have little resentments towards the person. You get to have resentments towards the person. You stonewall the person because you are scared that the person will be what you think the person is. Plantains and bananas look different, the same family. I mean, in some languages, same name, but they are used differently. One is eaten raw, not raw per se. Banana is eaten directly. Plantain has to either be boiled or fried. But yeah, looks the same. What I'm trying to say is there are some characters that people exhibit that look the same, and sometimes most of these people, they don't. It's not because they want to be these people, but Sometimes they are reflections of how you treat them, how you react to them, and how you talk to them. Like I met someone who said sex was not a big deal for her. You get into a relationship and you tell your partner that sex is not a big deal, the person begin to suspect you that you are not trustworthy. Obviously, um, the things you see on the internet, and you begin to see this person acting in certain ways. It can be tough because one person might be trying to make it work, and the other person might just be trying to make it not work. Yeah. So basically, from the topic today, trying or try. Two people are trying, but two different directions. Basically, one person is trying to work it out, one person is trying to work it out. you know, and it can be really crazy because it's usually heartbreaking when one party puts in their all and the other party is nothing but scared to give it a try wholeheartedly, not haphazardly, um not doing it with fear. And yeah, it's not easy to let go of the past, but sometimes it's necessary to let go of the past to see this person differently. And most of these things are the reason why some relationships go down the drain, and you see one person might never ever get to recover from it, because God said he hates divorce. And one of the reasons why he hates divorce is because, like, the furniture person, people who make furniture can attest to that. If you make a furniture, let's say a stool, for example, or a window frame that requires gluing, which is the relationship, you barely can separate those things. And when you separate them, they will both take one part of each other. Definitely take one part of each other. And that's what breakups do. And trying could just be one more month, could just be one more week, could just be one more day, But when one person loses hope in everything, and there's possibly an option out there staring at the person's face, it's doomed to crash. A friend of mine told me that comparison is a killer of joy. Yeah, when you begin to compare a partner to people you've been with, compare them with your friend, but you don't give them the same treatment, compare them with your family members, but you don't get to have the same treatment that your family members have, you begin to have empty comparison. And of course, it's hard for someone to keep up with expectations that are not who they are. And then on the flip side, there's the part where the other partner doesn't acknowledge the unique qualities of his or her partner. Yeah, that one self-join. And sometimes it could be from a place of fear too. So fundamentally, what should be the first thing to do is to eliminate that fear, come clean, naked but not ashamed, and help each other in their vulnerability, help each other, carry each other up. If it's anger the other person has, you help the person come out of anger. If it's insecurity the other person has, you help the person get more secure. Whatever it is, if you have told yourself that you want to be with this person, you love this person, then you owe it to this person to try, and this person owes it to you to try, which is where trying comes into play rather. So trying doesn't necessarily only work on you. Trying also works on the other person. So let's use anger for example. Your man is an angry bird. He's always angry. The easiest thing to do is not to bail on him or get out of the relationship just because. One of the things you could do, if you get anger management courses for him, you could always talk soothingly. You know, I know sometimes it's difficult to feel like, oh, why should I minimize myself? Why should I put myself down? Why should I this? Why should I that? And then maybe also watch what those things are that really triggers this person. Don't be the person that triggers him or her. On the flip side, if it's insecurity that the other partner, your woman, has, things like assurances, gifts could go a long way, most especially when this person likes to sulk and is usually self-absorbed. You try to let the person come out of his or her shell. One mistake a lot of people do is, and I'm also guilty of that mistake in the past, when somebody shares his or her pain, sometimes in trying to explain that pain to the person or trying to get the person out of that pain, we tend to downplay the person's pain. It's the person's hurt. We tend to downplay it, and it only makes the person feel like, oh, I'm not being heard. Is it that what I'm saying doesn't make sense? Or is it that this person can't even see me? And these things can make this person go back into their shells. There are ways you can communicate your response to someone's pain that would help the person come out whole and complete. I'm saying all these things because some of these are my experiences, and some of these things are things that I've seen people go through. Some people have had to be in this position. I have also been in this position, and I've lost valuable people. Only I sometimes wish that I could have them back and start afresh, to make things right. But some people just go back to where they used to be, because they hurt. So yeah, you owe it to your partner to try, because he's your partner. He's your man, he's your woman, she's your woman. You are supposed to be together for as long as life gives you. Don't just bail out on the person just because the person has been. I think one of the things that could justify bailing on your partner, things like physical abuse. I detest it. You can't be abusive to your partner. It's not. You can't be physically. Yeah, there are some people, like the emotional abuse part. Sometimes it may not be deliberate, because this person doesn't know better, and it's okay to call the person's attention and say, hey babe, this is how you emotionally abuse me, and I feel that you can work on it. I feel you can be better for the both of us, and I feel this is how it's better to. So you see, communication sometimes can be very difficult, because some people may not want to necessarily tell you what to do, which I find very wrong, because I was not born with you. I didn't grow up with you, and even if I grew up with you, it's rather only fair to specifically state what you want from your partner. Not just going around and saying, you can't talk to me, you can't control me. No, maybe things like, oh, I think I felt bad when you said these words and when you said that word. I feel that when you say this other word, it's better, it resonates better with me, and it helps me understand you. So now you are letting the person know that I'm not just being selfish about what I am saying, I'm also trying to make sure that you understand the of which gravitas of the error that has been made, because you're not perfect and you're human. So I trust you, I love you, and I want you to grow. So these things are simple tweaks and tricks to help you try in your relationships. Yeah, it's not rocket science. I mean, you do it with your siblings, you do it with your bosses, you do it with your colleagues. Why don't you want to do it in your relationships? And thinking that, oh, I can just get another guy or another girl to date is the wrongest way to start a relationship, because before you know it, it tends to, you would have been through a lot of people. One other thing that I think is a relationship killer is easily breaking off the relationship and coming back. I was really responsible. This was one of the things that I did in my previous relationship. Um, I would just break off, and most times it's not because I want to come back or because I want to break up, but the depth at which whatever actions I realized happened, or whatever happened, I realized that it wasn't worth staying. But then again, in cases like this, you just need to take a breath, deep breath. Just breathe, breathe, breathe. Walk away, take some time away, tell your partner, I'm walking away. This issue that we're dealing with, it has gotten me to the point where I'm going to make poor choices. So I would request that you let me walk away, go and resolve my issues mentally with myself, and I'll come back to you. I'm not going to take long. I'm not going to take all day. I'm not leaving you, but I want to go back to my drawing board and to evaluate this action and to see how I can bring you back. So you are not telling your partner that, oh, this thing you have done is worth getting out of. The only thing I think you should walk away from any relationship for is infidelity. Other than that, every other thing is workable, even infidelity, but I wouldn't recommend it. So don't just break off a relationship because she's being disrespectful. Don't break off a relationship just because she doesn't listen to you. Don't break up a relationship because she is heady. Don't break up a relationship because he is an angry bird. Well, depends. Provided he's not an abuser. Don't break up a relationship because he mentally abuses you. And I'll tell you why I say you shouldn't break up a relationship, because he mentally abuses you. You see, mental abuse are how do I put it? So he is responsible for what he says. You are responsible for how you think. So if the person that is supposedly mentally abusing you have said certain things, and they've confirmed that whatever they said is how they meant it and how you saw it, then there's a problem. But if, for example, I call my girl a slut, for example, and she feels embarrassed because I called her a slut, and in my opinion, I didn't mean that she was sleeping around. I meant, oh, she's my slut. Now look at it. The word is offensive to her. Might not be offensive to me because maybe that is how I have lived my whole life. Now, if she walks up to me and says, "You don't call me a slut. I'm not a slut. I'm your woman. I'm your girl. I'm your heartthrob. I'm whatever it is." But this word slut doesn't resonate with me. It's not doesn't sit well with me. Now, if he objects and say, "No, you are a slut and you are a whatever," then you know that this person is an abuser. But if this person tells you, "Oh, I didn't know this thing hurts you this way. I just said these things, casually to, you know, I didn't mean it this way. I'm sorry. I'll take redress." Now, the latter was mental abuse. The former wasn't, because now this person knows better that the girl he is with is not like the other girl he was with, and some words don't work with them. There was a case where my girlfriend went out with her friend, called me, and we gisted, and I was home. I wanted to go out, and her friend brought some other. They went to meet another friend, which was a guy, and I called, just to check on them. And in my own opinion, I wanted to do amebo with my girlfriend, which is not wrong. And I was like, "Who is this person? Who is this person? Is it your friend's boyfriend and all that?" And she was like, "No, it's not." I'm like, are you trying to protect your friend? Don't want to show me your friend's boyfriend. We're just gisting, And let me see the person's face. Now, me, in my own opinion, was trying to be fun, and because I felt she was missing out on the fun. I felt this was how I thought, but she didn't feel comfortable. They didn't feel comfortable, and then after everything, she was pissed off. She was angry that this, that, that. The friend said, "Oh, that why did your boyfriend call? Did he feel I was carrying you to meet some dude? Blah, blah, blah." And I explained to my girl, I said, "Look, I'm sorry, but it was not the way you thought. I wasn't, the whole policing and all that. I was just trying to have fun. Moreover, the reason why I called the last time, I was trying to get out of the house and it started raining, Now, I wouldn't do that again in the future. Do you get it? Which I did not do. But if the person on the flip side said, "What do you mean? You're my girlfriend. I can call you anytime I want." Now that's an abuse. That's an outright abuse. You don't do that to people. You respect people, even if the boundaries between you and your girlfriend are more they are thinner than she and her friends. They are thinner. When I mean they are very thin, because you guys are supposed to be partners and couples and all that. It still involves a third party. So apologizing and explaining yourself could go a long way to calm this person down, to say, "Oh, he didn't mean it that way." But if she didn't believe whatever you said, or if she didn't believe whatever I said, then there is a problem. Now, I'm not emotionally abusing her in this case. She just doesn't trust me enough to believe that I didn't mean it the way I did. So, these are checks and balances in your relationships that you should work out. It's worth it. I'm sure it's worth the try. It's worth it. Try it. I love you guys and see you some other time. Have a great day ahead. Bye.